Now, the last kind of phrase in our phrase unit are appositives and appositive phrases. Now, these are the simplest of the phrases, and the definition is really a noun used as an adjective. The information that noun as an adjective can provide can be essential or non-essential. So it can go either way. So for example, my cousin Brian is my best friend. Verb, who or what, linking verb is, who or what is, cousin is. Now you might say, well, why isn't it Brian? Because the definition of a positive is a noun used an adjective, and it almost always, as a single word, follows the noun that it modifies. So here, Brian tells me more about cousin. Our football team has won its first two games, one by 3 points, the other by 6. Key with appositives are commas, and you'll see a couple coming up here. So if I go back and look at my verbs, has won, action verb, who or what has won, the team has won what? Games, direct objects. Now here's your pronoun telling me about the game. Here's your pronoun telling me about the game. These are all modifiers explaining more about one and more about the other. So all of this is your appositive, and it's all describing games. Soledad, a cautious driver, has never had an accident. So has had, action verb, who or what has had, Soledad. Soledad has had what? Accident, direct object. Never, is an adverb. This driver, what kind of driver? Cautious driver, describes Soledad. Now, different from the verbals, there's not a verb doing a different job here. This kind of phrase is a noun playing a different role in the sentence. So again, the only thing changes when we move from a simple appositive to an appositive phrase is we have the appositive plus its modifiers. Now, if we have a noun in that appositive, that means our modifiers are going to be prepositional phrases and other adjectives. So we look at the example, the Vescuzos live on Milner Lane, a wide street lined with beech trees. So action verb, who or what lives, the Vescuzos. On Milner Lane is a prep, but here's a comma. What do I have after? I've got a noun. I also have a participle prep phrase, but the wide street, what kind of a street? Participle lined with beech trees. All of this is a phrase. It's dominated by that noun. It's telling me more about Milner Lane. So this is my appositive phrase right here. Mount Kosciuszko, a part of the Australian Alps, is the highest peak in Australia. Linking verb, who or what is Mount Kosciuszko. I see my commas. I know that my true subject and my true verb are never separated by a single comma, so all of that must be extra information. Just for fun, linking verb must be followed by a PN or a PA. Here's a prep phrase. What is a part of the Australian Alps? Which part? That prep phrase goes with part. All of this is telling me more about Mount Kosciuszko. A diligent and quick-witted student, Mark always gets good grades. Action verb, gets. Who or what gets? Mark does. Mark gets what? Grades, direct object. Here's my comma. Now I know student isn't the subject because I can't have a single comma between my subject and my verb. I could have doubles like I do right here because that tells me all of this is extra information, but a single comma cannot separate a subject from its verb. So that tells me this is my appositive, and it happens to be telling me more about Mark. Now hints, appositive and appositive phrases are not always essential to the meaning of the sentence, which means they can be set off by commas. So if they are essential, there's not commas. If they are essential, if they're not essential, they're set off by commas. If they are essential, they are not set off by commas. Only the writer can truly determine that. It may be apparent in the context of the sentence, but for example, is Karen's sister Marcia also a sophomore? Here, it's extra information. Karen must only have one other sister. So if I said, is Karen's sister also a sophomore? You know exactly who I'm talking about. Now, George's sister Selena is a sophomore. In this case, no commas. George must have more than one sister. So I need to put her name in there so that I know which sister I'm talking about. So that is the lesson on appositives.